Wow, alright, this build can be squishy, guys. Welcome back. This is Fina, the Waifusader, with another episode of the Niche Build series. This time I have for you guys the LoD hammer build, the Hammsader. And nobody really plays this because for good reason, right? So let me go over some of the pros and cons so that you'll understand. Alrighty then, starting with the pros. It is highly mobile. Just like in Asobi Asobase. By the way, when you're riding a bike, please be careful and wear a helmet, guys. The playstyle is very clutch. Also, stay in school and don't do drugs. Courtesy of Watashi ga motenai no wa dou kangete mo omae ga warui, the anime. And of course, you have high uptime on a lot of your cooldown skills. As for the cons, because we're using the LoD gem, it is hard to gear for. It is inferior to the Seeker of the Light variant. It is glassy, so be very careful. Dangerous, right? Brought to you by Prison School. And of course, there's that STD problem. That single target damage I'm talking about. Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh, what a relief. I thought you were talking... What? No, this is not about seafood. Courtesy of Amagami SS. I love that anime. And that is why this build is niche, guys. It's not the greatest, and I don't even recommend most people trying it. However, if you've got the gear just collecting dust in your inventory for this build, then I suggest you try it out. I've provided a link in the description to the d3planner.com outline, and you can see what I recommend, at least for the fire spec. And just know that there is a holy version of this build, and that will give you more damage output, but it comes at the cost of wrath issues. So just keep that in mind. One thing that I forgot to mention is that you're kind of limited on your gems. Your legendary gems, you're forced to use the Legacy of Dreams gem and the Esoteric Alteration. So that only leaves you one legendary gem of your choice. I recommend Stricken. However, you're also open to use the Bane of the Trapped if you so desire. And just know that RGs take a long time to kill, so this might not be the most efficient. Here are the skills, quick glance. And as for playstyle, as I mentioned, this is very clutch, this build, and so you'll be spamming your buttons quite a bit and quite often because your skills will be off cooldown. And so this is how this build works basically. You're just spamming hammer, and what's great about this build is that you're doing a lot of stutter stepping, and as you're doing that, you're reducing your cooldowns, and of course you're spamming uh, your skills like your law, provoke for damage reduction and wrath regen, your horse for mobility, and of course your falling sword to increase the damage of the hammers. So it's kind of a busy build, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad. So let me show you a G-Rift demonstration. For context, this is a G-Rift 100 run at 3200 plus Paragon. One thing to note about this build is that it excels when there's high mob density. So when there's not that many monsters on the screen, you'll want to either move on or try to gather them together. That way you'll maximize the legendary power on your Faithful Memory weapon. And because cooldown reduction is something that you want to maximize, you'll want to attack whenever you can. So at every opportunity, as long as it's not, you know, too inconvenienced. Yeah, there's that clutch gameplay I'm talking about, especially with speed. Yeah, this is where mobility comes into play, because usually these floors, you're going to do a lot of running. One thing I forgot to mention about the convention of elements regarding that legendary item is that you'll want to cast Falling Sword right before your cycle. So one cycle before the element that you're running. So since I'm using the fire element, or I'm running the fire spec, I'll want to cast Falling Sword during the physical cycle. That way we'll maximize the effect of the convention of elements. At least that's the goal. I often mess up on that. When elites are spread out like this, it's best to skip them. It's hard to group them together, so it's not really worth the time. But there's quite a large mob here, so I decided to stick around. So this is a good example of one of the problems I kind of highlighted earlier with STD, so standard target damage, or single target damage. And as you can see, even with power, this enemy is not going down very fast. So you'll want to fight elites when there's other enemies around whenever possible. When you're fighting RGs that like to move around, this is when stutter stepping is very useful. So try not to just stand still. You'll want to follow the RG around. I hate this guy. Let me just skip to the end to show you how long that run took. Alright, so yeah, not the greatest, right? Almost 7 minutes for that run. And for a niche build, something that's inefficient or inefficient and unpopular, that's not bad. So this is going to be it for the video, guys. This was Fina, the waifu Sader. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Have a great day.